All right, hello once again, Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. In the last two videos, we basically have discussed what we've done in this program. In video 11 here that you see, C172, I went over the CS proj file, the App.Config file, the PayrollDbContext file, and the PayrollDbContextFactory file. In the last one, number 173.12 here, I went over all of the table files. All right, the Employee.cs for the employee table, HourlyEmployee.cs for the hourly employee table, PieceWorkerEmployee.cs for the PieceWorkerEmployee table, CommissionEmployee.cs for the CommissionEmployee table, SalariedEmployee.cs for the salaried employee table. In addition, we went over the employee service file, which is our bridge between the database and the form itself. So I want to do three things in this particular video. First, I'm going to remove the database as it currently exists and try to recreate it. That should just take a matter of moments. Then I want to go over the startup file, or the startup form. If we have time after that, we will start to get into the employee manager form. All right. And it'll probably take this video and one more. And hopefully, when we run it, it'll all work. And we can start trying to convert this into an ASP.NET application. And we'll see how that works. So going back to our program here, I want to go to Tools. In fact, before I even do that, let's go to View. SQL Server Object Explorer. There we are. Databases. Interesting. Let's see. Well, let's see. Go back here and refresh. Databases. System databases. What am I doing wrong? Server Object Explorer. It's not showing me anything here. Might be because when I rebuilt this. So let's see, what do we have to do here? Well, let's do this. Let's go to Tools. NuGet Package Manager Console. Let's set up our project. It is set up correctly. Okay, so we're going to come in and we're going to do a install package Microsoft.entity framework core minus version. I think we change it to 8.0.0. And it doesn't like that. Lovely. Detected package downgrade. Oh, we had used 8.0.22. Let's go back to that one. Okay, there, that's fine. Then we're going to install, I think we've also installed .SQL Server. And I think we also did design and tools. Tools. All right, so let's clear this. Now, there is no migrations folder, as you can see over here, so we're going to see if we can create one right now and have that database be created for us. So I'm going to do a add migration initial create. See if we have any errors on this. Hopefully we don't. Build failed. Lovely. I'm wondering if the reason that it failed, I don't know here, but I'm going to make a guess. And that is when I go back to here and I go to my CS proj file and I edit it, I do have 8022. Okay, that's what I was looking for. 8022222222. Server design and core. All of them are there. They're all correct. So why would that build fail? 6 minutes in and I'm running into problems already, so. Going to Stack Overflow here. It says they have a developer that is getting a build failed. Why? How do you troubleshoot this? Okay. It says we verified the builds, etc. We've done the .NET restore. I've done all that stuff. You should use the -v option to see if you get more errors about, more information about the error. Let's try this before we do anything. And that is, let's go back to here. Let's do a file, save all. Let's do a build, and we'll clean our solution here. That's a good sign. And let's do a build and a rebuild solution here. Now, if any errors that we get, well, and there are tons of them, huh? They're all in this BMI library, which we're not using. So what I'm doing is I'm looking in here to try to see if it says validation lib could not be found. Are you missing a reference? That could be what the error is. But everything else that's in here, all the other errors, we don't even need this BMI library in here. All right, we could remove all of these projects technically. But I do want to check this payroll lib. Got using validation lib. And it should be using validation library, I believe. Let's see what that was down here. Validation library. Probably. So this was in payroll library. Let's go ahead and add a reference. And let's add a project reference to validation library and say OK. Okay. Now, as of right now, it's still showing us that error, but let's come in here and do a build. Clean, build, rebuild. I think it might still be rebuilding the old solution that we made. So I don't know if it fixed that one or not. So notice all the errors we're getting on other files. What I'm wondering, just because I don't want to waste anybody's time here, so what I'm going to try to do is this. You'll see it right now. So let's do a file, save all here, and let's just close everything. Okay, I want to close all of this stuff. Okay, everything I've got. Everything. All right, now I'm going to go in here, and I don't know why EF2 is open, but that's okay. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go in and start up something brand new here. All right, so I'm going to create a new project. I am going to make it Windows Forms app. Now I don't remember which one of these we had to do. Let's see, I think it was this one, but we'll find out in a minute. And I'm going to put in here final payroll. This is the name of the project. Okay, project. All right, the location, I'm going to put a thing in here that's going to say, I'm just going to call this payroll. All right, so this will go under here, payroll. That's location, so the name of the solution will be payroll applications. How's that? Let's see if we can get this. Next, we're going to put in here 8, because that's the one we've been using, and a create. Okay. So we've got all this stuff. All right, now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to come in and try to add all the other stuff that we had. So I'm going to come in here and add an existing item. I'm going to go back to where I was here, which is on the desktop. EFCore PayrollEFCore03b and that's interesting, it's not showing. All right, add the proj file. And that's all it added. All right, so let's do this. I'll tell you what, we're just going to do this. I know what I'm doing wrong. So let's delete that. Okay. We don't even need this project in here, so let's remove this. We're going to come in here. We're going to go and add existing project, or try to do it like this. All right, so that should have brought in our project, and you can see everything is in here now. We also need to come in and add our validation. So that would be existing project, validation library. All right, hopefully that's everything we needed. Okay, how do I know? I don't know, but we're going to try it right now to see. So this final project here, don't think we need this. We're going to find out. All right, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to set this to my startup project, and I'm going to try to run this and see what happens. Now I don't have all the other garbage that had been in here before. This may come up with errors, I don't know. I'm not real worried about that right now. There's my information. There's my types. I changed this interface around a little bit. So if I go to hourly and I show this, I might get an error here. Okay. Okay, it's the error it's giving me now is it doesn't like the database that I've set up. Well, that would make sense because there is no database. All right, but the point is, when I did this, it wasn't showing me any errors because I've cleaned out all the garbage that was in there. So I'm going to see now if I can go in and get this build to work. And it may still not work. I don't know. All right, so we want this to be PayrollEFCore03b. And we're going to say, let's clear this, and let's try to do an add migration. And this will be our initial create. Now that's a lot better than it looked before. And you can see we now have a migrations folder. All right, and we have to do an update database. And that succeeded. So now, I'm going to move this down quite a bit because we don't need to see all this stuff. But now if I go in and look at my SQL Server Object Explorer, and I go in here to my databases, there's my payroll database 03b. I don't know why it's building the other one, but it is. And here's my tables. You can see I've got my employees table, my hourly employees table, my PieceWorkerEmployee table, my CommissionEmployee table, and my SalariedEmployee table. Well, that's good. That's everything that I wanted. So I'm going to cut that way down, close this, and now we're going to come in and we're going to start talking about, I can close this one too. Under our forms folder, let's start with the employee FRM startup form here, and then we'll do the employee manager. Now, this is our startup, sometimes called our splash form. What does it do? Well, the first thing it does is it displays this description right here of our payroll program. Okay, as you hopefully saw, let's bring up the designer. It also, and it'll come up in a second, lets you select the employee type. It's going to build a PayrollDB context and an employee service for us and allow us to launch our project by launching the FRM Employee Manager. All right. And it also has an exit button if we want to end the program. Okay. All right. So if we look at what happens in here when we run the program, all right, basically we're going to be calling from our payroll program this initialize DB context, and we're going to tell it to run our form. So a new PayrollDB context along with an employee service will be created each time the user opens the employee manager. All right. So what do we have here? Like I said, we've got this in-form load, which of course will run when the form becomes visible. It'll fill in this description label right here, as you can see, plus it's going to populate our combo box with the 4 options: hourly, piece worker, commission, and salary. All right. Hopefully that's fairly obvious. Then it will make sure that the hourly, which is, this is 0. Remember, this is 0, 1, 2, and 3 in our counting. So that's 0, 1, 2, and 3. We set the selected index to 0, so the one that's going to be selected by default is going to be hourly. All right, so we're pre-selecting hourly in other words. Our exit program is just going to ask the user, do you want to exit the program or not? Okay, and if you do, the program will end. Now we also have in here show other form. And what do we have here? Well, if the employee selected index is -1, that means it's empty. So it should say you must select one of the 4 employee types. Let's try doing that and see if it even works. So again, when we run this, you should see hourly chosen. All right. I don't think we can even remove this the way it's set up right now. Again, I changed all this around. Okay, well, we'll exit. So this should never get hit. All right, but what do we want to do here? As it says, we want to create a new frmEmployee instance, and we have to pass to that either hourly or piece worker or commission or salaried. All right. If for some reason we were able to pass it with nothing, then we want to call the employee manager's parameterless constructor. Again, that shouldn't even be possible anymore. Otherwise, we're going to call it, we're going to pass the type, and we will actually show then that particular one. All right. Okay, I'm at 2150. Not a great spot to stop, but what I want to do is I want to come in here. Let's just run it. I know we're at 22, and I'll leave the clock up there. And all I want to do is go to hourly and show this, and I am getting an error right here. All right, so it still doesn't like something that's in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the details as it says. I'm going to come in here, paste that in. Oh, that isn't what I want. That's okay. But I'm going to find out what that error is before I start this again and see if I can find it. Find it and fix it. That's the error. Okay, so that's my goal, is to sit there and find that error and fix it, because I don't want us to be stuck here, okay, when we go on. So I'm going to do that next, and I'll be back with that lecture and hopefully to talk more about FRM Employee Manager shortly. See you then.